talking with CJ Scarlet. She's head of Badass Grandma. And walk us through your journey to entrepreneurship and your inspiration for Badass Grandma. And of course, tell us a little bit about your authorship.
Okay. Well, after serving in the Marine Corps as a photojournalist in the early 80s, I also worked in the nonprofit sector. I worked for state government. I dipped my toes in the private sector. And then in 1999, I followed my heart and became an entrepreneur. I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an inventor, and I've always wanted to invent new things and disrupt things. And so getting into entrepreneurship was a natural step for me. My first company was Healing Tree, which was going to provide products for people with disabilities online. And it was a phenomenal idea, but it got caught up in the dot-com bust. And so I lost that company. And then I turned my focus back to my advocacy work. I was abused as a child and then sexually assaulted a couple times as a teenager. And it haunted me for years until I took my power back. And then I became an advocate for others who've been victimized in 1990. And I started working with a local rape crisis center, and I started volunteering. And then I turned my focus in school. I went back to college and got a master's degree in human violence, which is an interdisciplinary master's degree in criminology and sociology, because I wanted to understand how people could do the things they do. So when I returned to my advocacy work, I took over as executive director of a child advocacy center for abused children, and I worked at the North Carolina Attorney General's office as a director of victims issues, and I helped thousands and thousands of victims of crime, but I got tired of dealing with crime after it happened. I wanted to do something to keep it from happening at all. So when I became an entrepreneur, I started focusing on technologies and information that was going to protect people from victimization in the first place. And I had a company called Tiger Eye Sensor that had a device we were developing that was the size of 3 stacked quarters. And with it, you could wear it like a piece of jewelry. And if you were ever assaulted or encountered a predator, you could call out for help. And without touching or doing anything, the device would turn on, start video and audio recording the perpetrator, send the data to the police so they could literally see it on their laptops in their police cars. And the device would tell the predator that the police were coming and to leave the person alone. It was amazing technology. Unfortunately, we were unable to raise the $4 million we needed to get the prototype finished and get it to market. So that was my second disappointment with entrepreneurship. But the story gets better. Around 2015, around the time I lost Tiger Eye, my first 2 grandchildren were born. So after my grandchildren were born, I started having nightmares about their safety, because I know all the terrible things that can happen to kids because of my work with victims of crime. And I just couldn't bear the thought of something happening to them. And I thought, well, what can I do about this? And I thought, well, I'm an author. I'm a writer. I can write books. So I wrote my first 2 books, Badass Parenting and Heroic Parenting, in 2021. And Heroic Parenting is the PG-rated version of Badass Parenting, which is not PG-rated. And the books are about how to teach parents how to empower their children to protect and defend themselves from predators and escape assault attempts. And then my new book, Raising Badass Kids, A Savvy Parent's Guide to Predator-Proofing Tweens and Teens, comes out today, January 17th. I'm so excited. Or 16th, I'm so excited. And that one is for parents of kids 10 to 18. And the books have really appealed to parents. And so I'm developing an online course based on my books that I'm very excited about, because I have partnerships with bark.us and Angel Sense that are going to elevate my exposure for my books and online course to the stratosphere. So I'm really excited about that.